everyone, welcome back to Learning Bridge, and I hope you guys are doing good and staying safe. As the thumbnail suggests, this video is going to be about competitive programming. So watch this video till the end because it is going to be really important for those who have some generic doubts about competitive programming. For this session, we have a very special guest, Mr. Dhruv Chandhok. He is working as a software engineer in Google India. In this session, he will talk about his journey in competitive programming, different platform, important algorithm, different strategies to improve your coding skills, and how to prepare for tech giants like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Facebook.
जोर जोर से बोल के लोगों को स्कीमें बता दे.
So without wasting time, just let's jump on to the session.
Welcome Dhruv on my channel, and first of all thank you very much for taking the time for this session, and because I really wanted this session to happen since because lots of folks have so much confusion and so much doubt about the competitive programming, so I really wanted this session to happen with you, and yeah, thanks again. Okay, first thing I would ask you to just give a short introduction of yours.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Shashank, thanks for having me. Hi everyone, I am Dhruv. Shashank and I are from the same college. I am from MNIT Computer Science 2016 batch. I started my career as an SD in Amazon in 2016, where I worked for approximately 3 years. And then I switched to Google last October. I want to let you all know that I am not an expert, and that is what I told Shashank. He said that this might help others. So who are yet to begin or are in the starting stage of their career. So I was like, yeah, why not?
I know you are so much good in competitive programming, data structures, and algorithm. So that's why I thought it would be really good for the folks who are in the college. So just to know about something, the competitive programming. Okay, Dhruv. So let's move on to our questionnaire session. So my first question to you is just tell something about your exciting journey and what is the most prominent thing you have experienced in Google, and what was the time when you felt like you just want to be into the Google?
Okay, the time when I felt like I want to be in Google. So I did an IEEE crash course in 2012, I guess. The main faculty there, Vineet sir, they used to inspire people to work hard by telling about various perks of Google. He did so exaggerate it to sound even more fascinating, but that was the first time I had thought of joining Google. Before that, it was pretty much a search engine for me. So the best thing that I like about Google would be it actually cares for its employees. It has an amazing employee support. My mentor, the team lead, all of his peers, they are like very nice individuals, very supportive. And overall, the culture focuses on having fun along with the work. So starting with my Noobler orientation, which happened in Singapore when I joined, and we had this annual party that happens in December. They invited the local train band, which was like one of my favorites. Unfortunately, I missed my team's annual offsite this year. They went to Malaysia. So yeah, you get a gist. Like the work culture is amazing. Yeah.
That will be very exciting just to be part of Google.
Yeah. So I dreamt about Google, but even like after going inside, like my respect for Google increased even more.
Oh, that's very nice. Okay, Dhruv, so let's move on to our next question. What are the best ways to apply in the Google?
So for college students, I think they have an annual contest called APAC. Now I think they have renamed it as Kickstart. I think that's the best way to apply for freshers. Because I don't think they accept referrals for freshers. They accept referrals for laterals, and I think that's the best way because they don't have any third-party recruiting. They mostly refer to the referrals, or they reach out directly if they seem someone. I'm not sure if they post jobs online. I really don't know about that. So.
Okay. Okay, Dhruv. So my next question to you is why the competitive programming is so much important just to crack the interviews for tech giants like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook. Why it is so important?
Why computer programming is important? It is because it's the norm. But the main question I think here is why does these companies judge the candidate on competitive programming? So they could have chosen some other aspect too, right? But if you see the software interviews, they are like 45 minutes to 1 hour interview. The company has like limited time to test your skills. Agreed that no one can judge your overall skill by competitive programming alone. But through it, what you can judge is your problem solving ability along with few computer science fundamentals. And I think that is what the company needs. They assume the candidate can learn other things later on. For senior roles, obviously there are other rounds to like design round can be there, and there are the few rounds as well. So
Exactly.
and yeah, and also like people mostly confuse competitive programming with software interview coding rounds. I think they are not the same thing, but they are very similar. Let's not dive into the discussion like what's the difference exactly, but yeah,
Yeah.
we should see that competitive programming is like the software interview questions are a subset of competitive programming. What you can say.
Okay, so it is, you mean to say it is more about just improving your problem solving skills. So, and these companies basically judge your problem solving skills, and it will get improved if you are into competitive programming.
Yes.
Okay, so my next question to you, Dhruv, is tell us something about your journey in this competitive programming and what are some famous competitive programming competitions and why they are so popular among the students.
So about my journey, when I started, it was I think it was in my second year at college. So there is a very good tradition in our college about the computer club where like final year students they take classes on weekends on for all the other years like third year, second year, first year for majorly like on various topics they take the classes, but it's majorly competitive programming. So that is where I started it. You also asked about the various contests. So some of the famous contests that I would say is like ACM ICPC. That's the most prestigious contest for the college students. Then for school students, it's the IOI, and there are like other contests like Facebook Hacker Cup and Google Code Jam that are open to everyone. That are also very good.
Okay, okay. How much competitive contests you have given in your entire career? Just one rough number.
I contest. I not sure contest. It would be more than 250, 300.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's a really big number.
Yeah, so I actually did it as a hobby. Like I had like a group of friends in my college, so
Mhm.
we all used to discuss that. Like that was a common hobby. So yeah, I enjoyed doing that.
Okay, okay. Okay, so Dhruv, my next question to you is like you talked about computer programming and you talked about different competitions. So I would also like to know what are different platforms that someone can use just to begin with the computer programming.
So if you are like just starting, you haven't touched it any time till now, I would suggest you go to HackerRank or CodeChef and practice few questions there. But if you have like started and have rough idea, I think you should start with regular contest, Code Forces, Top Coders. These side are very good. Then there is this CodeChef long that happens every month. So just participate in that, and like I think 3 4 questions you will solve right away. So, fifth six onwards, it enhances your thinking ability. Like you think about it for a few days, you solve it, or even you don't solve it, you read the editorial later on. But it enhances your thinking skills.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Dhruv, for naming these platforms. So my next question to you, like, what are some really important and basic algorithms, like to begin with or to start with, or it is important to know for anyone like who is into programming?
So, like, first, I want to clear one concept that knowing algorithms is important, but that is not enough. So, one should be familiar with the use cases where a particular logic can be applied and cannot be applied. So, only then you can convert some random problem thrown at you in some interview to some known use case or combination of use cases, right? So, having said that, a few of the very common concepts that are asked in interview. First would be the binary search. Obviously, no one will directly ask you for binary search. It would be an indirect approach where you convert a problem into some function that gives some integer, and you find out that it's sorted, and you try to find out your answer. And then there is also another thing, BFS. That's very common. Or what I found to be very common in interviews. So most probably, BFS has a property that if uh, it traverses the first one distance first, then the next shortest distance, then the next shortest distance. So generally, when they ask questions like closest neighbor, yeah, minimum number of steps, I have seen that it converts to that kind of problem. But yeah, I won't say whenever you read these things, just say BFS, just practice, and like you will know for yourself. There are many more algorithms. I cannot name everyone right now, but yeah, these two, I think they are the most common.
Okay, so you mean to suggest knowing the algorithm is not enough. You should understand the use cases as well, where that can be a good fit, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. So Dhruv, let's move on to the next question. My next question to you is like, what are the common strategies and the best practices uh, a person should follow to improve their coding skills?
Uh, okay, so before telling best strategies, let me tell you about an issue that I have seen during my college time, like with few of my friends and colleagues who found the coding rounds really hard. So I'm not talking about the ones who did not put enough effort. I'm talking about like there were people who put in a lot of effort, but still it find very hard in the interviews. So what they were doing is they read and understand almost the entire Geeks or Geeks. I know it takes a lot of time, but they did that. And the thing they do is they read the question and they read how to solve it. The issue with this is that you do not understand or focus on why this approach was applicable and why some other approach XYZ was not. However, if you would have pondered over the question, scrapped 3, 4 approaches, and then reached the answer, or even if you didn't reach the answer and read the solution next day, you would get a lot more insight and would appreciate the solution. So, just want to say that knowing the use case is the main part. In interviews, no one will ask you to tell an algorithm. Another aspect that is very important but is generally ignored is debugging. So debugging skills go hand in hand with coding skills. So I have ruined a lot of contests because I was not able to debug some silly mistake on time. But many times debugging a problem takes even longer than writing the solution itself. So suppose I read a question, I take 20 minutes to write the solution. Then I see why is it giving wrong answer. I spent another 35 minutes to realize that I was referring to some ith index instead of j in a particular line. Silly mistake. So just want to say like the more you practice, the more your debugging skills improve. Next time when you see this kind of error, your mind will go like, I have had similar thing before. This might be here or there. You will be able to pinpoint it much better. So you do not want to get stuck in coding out of a company. So I suggest you give a lot of practice content beforehand.
Okay, I mean, this is a really good and very important point to know for our viewers. Okay, so Dhruv, my next question to you is like, what is system designing and why it is basically a part of the new interview pattern?
So uh, system design is relevant to more senior roles and not to freshers in general. I am not familiar with the old versus new interview pattern, if there is any. I think it might be because you're fresher earlier and now you're into senior roles. That's why they have started asking you system design now. So I would explain it briefly. System design in itself is a very long topic. The so the real world problems are much more complex than the competitive programming questions that we hear. The data associated with them are in TBs and petabytes. The the problem changes to making a highly scalable system. You discuss the entire system end to end, but on a high level. Generally, low level discussions aren't there, but that depends on your interviewer. So distributed computing comes into picture. It's not a single core anymore that we are like used to with competitive programming. So there are a lot
Uh-huh.
of there are a lot of aspects to this. For instance, you focus on what the user request would look like, and depending on that, you choose your database to optimize your query time. There are a lot more aspects. I don't think we can cover entire in this interview. So I think this gives a brief idea.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Dhruv, my next question to you is, I think is going to be important for the students who are into the colleges and just preparing for the placements. So, like, what would you suggest to those students who are preparing for their placements and projects and the off-campus opportunities?
So I think most of the points I already mentioned. I will summarize them. Like practice a lot, give live contests. There are a lot more. One thing that there are a lot more aspects to computer science apart from computer programming alone. But you should focus on competitive programming as well because all the companies are asking that. So I that's totally fine that software development and other things are equally important as maybe someone can say more important in competitive programming. But to get into the company and to do well in hiring in this coding interviews, you are bound to have. If even if you don't have interest, just take it as a necessary evil. That's all I can say. But don't skip it. Then keep an open eye for off-campus opportunities. I would say keep an open eye on Hacker Earth. There are a lot of off-campus hiring happening there. Also, many companies have off-campus contests. Just keep a track of that. So, for instance, I already mentioned their Facebook Hacker Cup and Google Kickstart. So similarly, there would be for other companies as well. Just whatever company you want to go in, just keep a track about how they hire. Like you can drop in a random mail to some HR on LinkedIn, like is your company hiring for fresher or not? Just try it out. Maybe it works.
Okay, Dhruv. So it's like not only focus on computer programming, there are various things which needs to be covered.
Yeah, absolutely. There are like, but at the same time, I would say just do not skip competitive programming because that is equally important to do well in the interviews. So if you have decent confidence in competitive programming, just move to the other aspects, but don't move skipping competitive programming. This is very important
Okay.
from the perspective of getting a good job in college time.
Okay, thanks, Dhruv. So, Dhruv, I'll wrap up this session with the last question, which I think it is important for a person, like the term rejection. So, how do you basically deal with rejection, and what would you suggest to our watchers, like how they can keep themselves motivated?
See, with every rejection, you will feel sad. Feeling sad is fine, but do not feel demotivated after like getting rejected, because you should understand that this was not your last interview, even if you have cracked it. With every interview, a lot of preparation goes in, and even during the interview, you learn a lot. So you learn even during interview rejections. You are a better person at the end of that interview than you were before, even preparing for that. Also, I've seen a lot of people like I mean, this is particularly for people who are already in a job, like they hesitate in applying for a new job for the fear of rejection. Some hesitate, some people hesitate because it's like stepping out of their comfort zone. This happened
Yeah.
with me too a lot. So I would just like to say it takes 2-3 interviews to get used to it. Like after that, you will enjoy interacting with the interview. Like there will be 3-4 rounds. You will get to know more insights. Uh, Even if you like you do hiring for a company, it would be even better. Like you learn like other companies how do they hire. So
Yeah.
I go to give some interview like every 5-6 months randomly. Like some weekend someone is hiring, I just go there. Let's see what happens.
Wow. That's a really good point. Like you just keep interviewing with the companies so that you could know like what new things like folks are asking and what new
Yeah,
things are happening. Like, okay,
exactly, and
yeah,
that also helps a lot if you are hiring for your company.
exactly. That's really nice things to know, Dhruv. And Again, thanks for this session because I think you have covered each and every insights related to competitive programming or how to get into tech giants, what needs to be done, what not need to be done. So that was really nice to know, and I think our viewers will find it very useful for them. So yeah, thanks Dhruv, thanks for the session, and I'll hope if folks have some queries, so we can plan another session with you as well.
Sure, sure, Shashank.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
That's it for today's session, guys. I hope you guys have liked this session with Dhruv and got to know about various insights of competitive programming. Please like and share this video with your friends so they could understand the importance of competitive programming. And if you guys are new to this channel, take a moment to subscribe to my channel and press the notification icon so that you could get notified for my latest videos. And if you guys want another session with Dhruv, then please put down your comments in the comment section. And if someone thinks he or she in such a good state to give something back to the community, then please reach out to me. I would be really happy to feature you on my channel. Till then, stay safe, stay home, and stay tuned.